Hi, I'm Stefan from Mix66 and in this video I want to show you how you can create heavy guitars without recording a single note with a real guitar. Listen to the final result. I recorded the song 3 years ago during the pandemic, and the only real instruments that were used in this recording were the drums. Everything else were MIDI instruments, so virtual instruments. And while I'm playing a little bit of guitar and also some bass, I'm nowhere near the level where I could record myself with these instruments. But I wanted to record a song from scratch, so I had to come up with other solutions for bass and guitars. But before we take a look at how I recreated bass and guitars for this recording, I must admit that these techniques do not really replace a real performance of a guitar or bass. But if you don't play any guitar, this can be a great way to record some demos. And even if you do play some guitar, then you can use these techniques to layer your guitars to make them sound larger than life. So let's see what I've done. So here we have the session file of this cover, The Only Thing They Fear Is You by Mick Gordon. And in this video I want to focus on the guitars, because as I said in the intro, the only real instruments in this recording were the drums. Let's listen once again to the final recording. Let's solo some instruments so you get more insight into the production. Let's start with the drums. The bass. Here we have a combination of 3 different synthesizers or samplers. So we have 3 different layers of bass in this song. We will take a deeper look into the bass sound in a future video. Next are the guitars, and in this video we will focus on how I achieve this guitar sound. Also here we have 2 samplers and 1 synthesizer that make up this guitar sound. And then we also have some additional synths. Some of them are playing melody and others are just for texture. And also here we will have a look in a future video on how I created these synth sounds. So now let's jump to the guitars. We have 3 layers of guitars, 2 guitar samplers. One is Odin 2 by Solemn Tones and the other one is Wedge Force Matcha. This is included in the Plugin Alliance subscription. They also released now a 7-string guitar sampler, which may be even better for this type of song, but as I recorded this song 3 years ago, I had to use this one. Generally speaking, when I opened this session today to make this video, I've noticed many things that I would do differently now, but yeah, I guess that's just the way life goes. We are constantly evolving, so yeah. This is what I've used back then, so I will use it also today. And then we have a 3rd layer of guitar, and that is a synth. It was Arturia Analog Lab. Unfortunately, 3 years ago I still had Analog Lab 3. Now it is Analog Lab 4, so I cannot show you the exact setting that I used. But fortunately I have made a render of this file so we can still listen to the final result. So let's take a look at the first guitar. So it is Odin 2 with the setting Band Rhythms expanded into a angle E646 VS from Plugin Alliance. So here we have the MIDI file. Let's solo this guitar, disable the amp synth and also the other effects, and listen to how the raw DI signal from Odin 2 sounds. Let's activate the amp synth. It is quite dull sounding, that's why I added a lot of EQ in the next step, and then Mark EQ2 to add lots of high end. Without this Mark EQ, and with it. Then we have the second layer of guitars, which I called Guitars Low, because these are the exact same MIDI file as the first guitar layer, but here I'm using a MIDI tool to transpose the signal down -24 semitones, so 2 octaves. Let's listen to the raw sound of this sampler. Basically, Wedge Force Matcha isn't really a sampler. It is a synthetic guitar sampler, so to say, so it doesn't have recorded samples as Odin 2 has, but Matcha somehow synthesizes a DI tone. So let's listen to it. Enable the amp sim, in this case it is SDL Tonality Will Putney. Disable the additional plugins. It doesn't sound as real as Odin 2, but once I have added the amp synth and the additional EQ moves, I like this tone more than the more realistic sounding Odin, and that's why the level on this is +7 and Odin is on 0. Now before we are adding the amp synths, let's disable the MIDI tool that is down-tuning the files. And you can hear immediately that's way too high for metal recording, so let's re-enable the MIDI tool and also the amp synth, and let's have a listen to the amp synth. This is SDL Tonality Will Putney with amp 4. I think this is a diesel. And also here some EQ moves, cutting some harsh high mids, adding some high end. Let's disable these EQ moves. And with them. And finally we have the third layer, the synthesizer, where we already had a listen to it. Let's listen to it once again before we reconstruct the final guitar tone. Also this one has the exact same MIDI notes, only that this synth patch just doesn't have the attack of every single note. So it sounds very different to the 2 other guitar layers, but if you layer this synth sound to the other guitar tones, then you have a wider guitar sound with also some depth added to it. And now all guitars together with also the EQ on the bass. Here we have also some high mid cuts. And now I will start with just the guitar tone from Wedge Force Matcha. And then I will add the guitar layer from Odin 2 and then finally the synthesizer from Arturia Analog Lab. You can hear how every single layer adds some nice texture to the guitar sound and makes it also sound more realistic. I think this is a great guitar tone considering that there are no real guitars played. Honestly, I think with some real guitars this would sound even better, but that was all that I had back then and I'm very happy with the result. And now let's have a listen to the whole song. You will see the video of me playing the drums to this song. So this is how you can create heavy guitars without recording a real guitar. In some upcoming videos we will have a look on how I created bass and the other synths and how I recorded and mixed the drums. Make sure to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss these new videos. Also, I have seen that only 5% of my viewers are subscribed to this channel. If you want to see more music production videos like this in the future, then please consider supporting this channel by subscribing. And if you want some top-notch drum samples, then you can download my drum samples for free by clicking the link in the description. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye.